Hi, I'm Jim Hennington. In today's video, we're going to talk about lifetime income products and their impact on a retiree's age pension income. So firstly, what do we mean by lifetime income products? So typically, the retirement option most superannuation funds have at retirement is an account-based pension. So this is a retirement income product where your superannuation remains invested and you simply withdraw money out of your own account over time as your retirement income. So there's a minimum withdrawal rate, which is a percentage of each year's balance based on your age. For example, it's 5% from age 65 and it increases at key ages as you get older. The minimum ensures the money is gradually paid out so the balance reduces over time. You can usually withdraw more than the minimum if you choose, but there's no guaranteed income for life. So your balance depends on investment performance and how much you draw down. A lifetime income product, on the other hand, is a contract to pay regular payments for the rest of your life, no matter how long you live. Some of your superannuation balance gets used to buy the product, and in return, you receive a lifetime income stream. So in these two charts, we have a male retiree, single, aged 70 years old. He's a homeowner and has $700,000 in super. So on the left, he puts all his money into an account-based pension, drawing the minimums. On the right, he buys a lifetime income stream, and that just converts into an annual payment which lasts for life. The assumed investment return in both scenarios is 6.5% less fees. And the figures are in today's dollars. With the account-based pension, you've always got access to whatever remaining balance is in the product, and on death you receive that balance as a death benefit. On the right, there is a death benefit for people who die in the early years of retirement, but if you were to die past life expectancy, then there's no more lump sum death benefit. So how are these products means tested? Just a refresher, the general means test work like this. There's an assets test, and the asset test, the way the test works is you start with the full rate of the age pension minus whatever your assessable asset value is, minus a threshold times 7.8%. So basically, for every $100,000 you've got above the threshold, you lose $7,800 per year as age pension until it gets down to zero. There's also the income test. So the income test, you've got the full rate minus 50% of the assessable income value minus the threshold. So for every $10,000 of income you've got above the threshold, you lose $5,000 per annum of age pension. In terms of what the thresholds and rates are, the full rate is $46,200 for a couple and $30,646 for singles. The asset test thresholds are as follows. So for a single homeowner, it's $321,500. The cutout points for single homeowners would be $714,500. So basically, if a single homeowner or retiree has assessable assets over that, then they'll get no age pension. And for a couple, it's just over $1 million. Under the income test, it's the same full rate of income, full rate of age pension, but the thresholds are for a single person, $5,668, and for a couple, just under $10,000. The cutout points under the income test is just under $67,000 per year of income, which would mean you've got no age pension for a single, or for a couple, it's $102,284 combined. In terms of how the two product types compare in the way they're assessed for the age pension is follows. So an account-based pension, the assessable income is 100% of your deemed income. And the assessable assets is just whatever the balance is. So deemed income is an assumed percentage of the balance, irrespective of what actual income that account-based pension earns. So it's in bands. The first band, the assumed income is only 0.75% per annum, and the remaining balance, the assumed income is 2.5% per annum. The bands are there. A lifetime income product, however, only 60% of the income counts towards the assessable income, and 60% of the purchase price counts as assessable assets, which reduces to 30% after age 85, or a minimum of holding the product for 5 years. So that's quite a big difference, and the nature of the tests is quite different. So with the lifetime product, only 60% of the purchase price counts, so 40% is exempt. And with the lifetime product, only 60% of the annual payments count towards the income test, but that can still be higher than the deemed income because deemed rates are quite low. A couple of things to point out. With an account-based pension, the assessable asset value can head towards zero in old age. So as your balance runs out, the assessable asset value reduces, and obviously your balance and your deemed income can reduce, which means as you get older, you can end up with a higher age pension. Whereas with a lifetime product, you've obviously got this step down in purchase price, this step down in assessable asset value at age 85, but with the income, with a lifetime income, it's designed to have a high annual payment level all the way through for life. So, as I said earlier, the relative impact of all this can be different at different ages as you get older. So let's look at our example. So if you've got a 70-year-old single homeowner, $700,000 in super, if he just uses an account-based pension, his asset test value is here. So he's got $700,000 minus the threshold times 7.8%, means he's left with only a very small age pension. With the income test, he's got a deemed income of just under $18,000 a year, minus the threshold times 50%, and the income test produces a much higher age pension. The trouble is with means testing, you get the lower of the two tests. So in this example, his age pension will be just over $1,100 per annum. There is actually a minimum that kicks in, but it's 1,000 and a bit. If he uses a lifetime income product, only 60% of the purchase price counts towards the asset test. So you can see 700,000 times 60%, which means his asset test result is much higher, so 22,963. Whereas with the income test, his annual payments of 54,300 times 60% over the threshold means his income test is actually lower than his asset test. So that's 17,191 per annum. Again, he gets the lower of the two tests, but it's considerably higher than he would have got had he kept all that money in an account-based pension. It's an increase of 16,000 per year higher. But that's only year one. As he gets older, the way these tests work can change. So here, this chart shows the uplift each year. So as I said, he's getting about $16,000 more age pension in the first year if you put it in the lifetime income product, and that relative uplift stays the same for quite a while, but gradually the extra age pension he gets from the lifetime product gets less and less and less, and then if he lives past 91, his age pension would actually be a little bit lower from the lifetime product than it would if he used the account-based pension. And that's mainly because the lifetime product's paying quite good income in those higher, older years, and the income test sort of bites. Whereas with the account-based pension, the balance is starting to run out. Just looking at that over time to understand it better, This chart on the left is showing his assessable assets from each product type as he gets older. So the lifetime product, his assessable assets in today's dollars is just over 400,000, so 60% of the purchase price. Then it drops down at age 85, and you can see it's quite a bit lower than the balance of his account-based pension if he left it in there. This is drawing the minimums. Whereas the income test, this chart on the right is showing his assessable income. So the assessable income from the lifetime product in today's dollars is pretty level. The assessable income from an account-based pension gradually reduces as the balance reduces. Now, that just shows that the different components of the tests evolves over time. This gives you a bit of visibility. So basically, in summary, what we've got is the two products interact very differently with the means tests. For means tested pensioners, the lifetime products can produce more age pension, but it requires some pretty good modelling to understand what does that look like now and over the course of retirement. Thank you.